From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here joining the Badass Counseling Show. No matter where you are tuning in from, it's great to have you here, be it Portugal, or Cyprus, or Kyoto, or up across the Great White North. All of our friends up in Canada, we love you so much. And of course, our friends across the U.S., down in the great state of Texas, across the deep South. It is hotter than heck. And you know, people always kidded us up in Minnesota, you know, in the far north for how freaking cold it is. But I tell you, you got to stay in, although you adapt and you learn to really enjoy winter, most folks. But it's pretty doggone hot. So I don't know the difference between extreme hot and extreme cold, except we could go snowmobiling and ice fishing. But anywho, that's my little riff on hot and cold and just how much I love Southern folk. I really do. And their cooking and their food and good folks. So it's good to have you all with us. I am joined by my team. I have Rob the Rocket in studio, and I have KC remote. So she will actually be speaking. It's great to have both of you here. Rob, how are you? KC, how are you?
Go ahead, KC. You're on.
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Sven?
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. I understand we have you remote. We're going to have you talking today during the show. And Rob the Rocket, back from vacation. Nice to have you.
Yeah, we had a nice hiatus there. We had no hiatus in dropping episodes because we record a few in advance.
Thanks to you.
Very happy about that. But yeah, it was nice to take a little break, and it's really nice to be back.
It's wonderful. And you traveled overseas, and so... are your wings tired from all that flapping?
Yeah, hysterically tired, but it was nice to see all those electric cars.
Well, that's good. Good. I'm glad it was a great trip. Well, I tell you, Rob, would you go ahead and tell us, please, about Delon?
Why, certainly, Sven, I'd be happy to. Delon wrote in with the subject line, Fear of Betrayal. And she said, I struggle with trust and live in fear that my husband has or is going to betray me. I'm in my second marriage. My first husband cheated on me with multiple women and was emotionally and physically abusive. I lived in an environment where I was psychologically torn down, which resulted in severe anxiety and depression and destroyed my want for intimacy. I was blamed for his infidelity, stating he felt like he had to force me to have sex and had no choice but to find it elsewhere. My current husband also cheated on his first wife. They rarely had sex during their marriage, and to fulfill his need for intimacy, he turned to other women, me being one of them. Our affair lasted 3 years before finally ending his marriage to be with me. My husband has told me I make him very happy, our sex life is amazing, and he does not plan to ever cheat. However, I continue to suffer with hypervigilance, and I don't trust him, partly because of how our relationship began. I am currently seeing an EMDR therapist and practice somatic healing, but can't seem to break free from the pain and fear revolving around the trauma that I still carry due to infidelity.
Delon, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Sven. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. What you're talking about here is not something that is uncommon. Okay, I was cheated on in the past, and now I live in fear of cheating. That's not uncommon. In fact, one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is exactly that. It's like, oh shit, God, I was hurt in the past. How do I ever open up? I want to ask you this question, though. I want to open with this question. So if this fear that you have, okay, presently, of your husband that either he has cheated or that he might cheat, that fear, which is very real, and I am in no way going to disparage that or put it down, that's very real, and it's very tangible for you, and you're clearly doing a lot of work on it, and I applaud you for that. What % of that fear is due to his actions in your relationship with him or his actions in his life, but particularly his actions in relationship with you, and what % is just due to your own past and your own fears? What percent is it him, and what percent is it you?
It might be about 60% him and 40% me.
And what is it above all else that causes your fear to be primarily driven by him, the larger share driven by him as opposed to you? What is it above all else?
I think because we got into the relationship relatively quickly. He left his wife and asked me to move across the country to be with him. And we moved in together, and it just kind of went quickly. And he didn't really have time to be on his own and recover, I think, from being in a bad marriage. And he ended up bringing some of his bad habits into our relationship. And so I kind of struggled a lot with just some of those behaviors. There was some lying and hiding things that I thought were unnecessary and just not being open.
What percent do his bad habits still exist today?
I don't think that he's really lying to me anymore, at least that I'm aware of.
So all of them, all of his bad habits put together, what percent do his bad habits exist today?
Maybe 40%.
40%. Okay. And then let me ask you this question. You ended your write-up by saying, I'm currently seeing an EMDR therapist and practice somatic healing, but I can't seem to break free of the pain and fear revolving around the trauma that I still carry due to infidelity. Okay. And so what I want to ask you is the pain and fear revolving around the trauma. Of that pain and fear revolving around the trauma, what percent is a result of the infidelity of your ex-husband, and what percent of the pain and fear around the trauma is because of the emotional and physical abuse? See, you say it's about the infidelity, but you don't say the pain and fear are about the emotional and physical abuse, which is totally fine. I'm not telling you it should be that or shouldn't be that. It's just rather interesting that you cite that as a greater thing than the emotional and physical abuse. And that's totally okay. I'm not shaming you for that, nothing like that. But I just want to sort of pick at that thread a little bit and see if there's a thread there. Maybe there's no fucking thread there. What percent of your fear, pain and fear around the trauma that you carry, of all the trauma that you carry, what percent is due to infidelity and what percent is due to emotional and physical abuse that you experienced in your last relationship?
I guess because my current husband doesn't do that to me, so I don't think about that being part of what the problem is, but you're correct.
But so we're not talking about what the problem is in this relationship, because you use the words that I can't seem to break free from the pain and fear revolving around the trauma that I still carry due to infidelity. And I just want to check, is it due to the infidelity? If you were to open up, even just for a minute, we can close it right back up if you want, if it's too scary. But if you were to open it up just for a second, just for a minute, all the pain and fear that you carry revolving around trauma, let's say from your past marriage, what percent is due to infidelity and what percent is due to emotional and physical abuse?
Probably 60% would be the emotional and physical abuse, and then the infidelity would be 40.
Okay, that makes sense. And any answer would have been fine. Any answer would have made sense, quite frankly. What's interesting to me is that in all of this write-up about infidelity, that you mentioned the emotional and physical abuse. Now, if the emotional and physical abuse weren't any part of your pain and fear, why even bring it up regarding your past? If all of your problems were just about the infidelity and you had healed all of the emotional and physical abuse, it would almost seem unnecessary. It would provide some context, but almost unnecessary. And so I just wanted to poke around there. And you said the emotional and physical abuse, I lived in an environment where I was psychologically torn down, which resulted in severe anxiety and depression and destroyed my want for intimacy. Then I was blamed for his infidelity, stating he felt like he had to force me to have sex and had no choice but to find it elsewhere. First of all, that's a bullshit statement. Had no choice but to find it elsewhere. That's an absolute bullshit statement. That's just total contrived cockamamie fuckery. Had no choice? No, he had about 1,000 other choices, because plenty of other people are in marriages that were as bad or worse than your marriage. Plenty of people who reach into that basket of options and they pick out, I don't know, working on their marriage. They pick out, I don't know, going to therapy, going to couples therapy, going to individual therapy, going to a wise old person in their life and getting some fucking advice. Some people reach into the basket and pick out getting a fucking separation. Some people reach in and pick out, I don't know, divorce. But he's stating it as if, because you did all this and I had to force you to have sex, and shit, I had to cheat. It was a 1-to-1 correlation. There was no two ways about it. Your fault. It's like, fuck you. He's trying to blame you for his fuckery, for his being an absolute fucking dick. And it was bullshit. But you were so broken down from the emotional and physical abuse, you probably bought it. At least to some degree. Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because of the emotional and physical abuse, there was a lot of, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not good enough? Why isn't everything that I do in the marriage, why isn't this keeping him from hurting me and doing these things?
Right. And so in this case, in this particular relationship that you're in now, step me through it then. Let's assume he's going to cheat. I mean, you think about it all the time anyway, so let's fucking talk about it. All right? Okay. Let's assume for a minute that he's going to cheat. Hell, let's assume he's cheating already. He's having he's been in how long have you two been together?
We've been married for 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah, I think 8 years total we've been together.
So you were at 5.5 years that you were together cheating, right?
Well, we were 3 years, and then we lived together for a while before we ended up getting.
Okay, yeah. So 8 total. Okay, so let's just say you've been married for 2.5, and then you were living together for 2 before that. Let's say he's been cheating for a year with the waitress down at Denny's or some shit. I'm just making it up, okay? Let's just say. And then let's say a month from now, you fucking find out. Whatever happens, you find out. Okay, you lose it as anybody would. I'd lose it if I found out my girlfriend had been cheating on me or my wife had been cheating on me for a year, and I did find that out. Okay, so, and you lose it and so on and so forth. Let's assume that happens. Okay, let's just run with it.
Okay.
What for you, and everybody's different, so there's no right or wrong answer, what for you is the absolute worst part about it? What would be the worst possible outcome once you find out? I mean, obviously finding out is the worst, but then what? What do you fear the most once you find out that he has been cheating on you for a year, just fucking the living shit out of this woman and in love with her and everything? Okay, you find that out. Then what? What's your fear?
I guess ultimately then that's a deal breaker. So I'd have to leave the marriage, and then I wouldn't get to be with him. And I have been through way too much with men. So I think this would be my last relationship. So that means I would be alone.
How old are you?
I am 50, almost 51.
Okay. Almost 51. Okay, so I wouldn't get to be with him. And so, that in and of itself is an interesting word choice. That is an interesting word choice. Wouldn't get to be with him. Now, I consider myself fortunate to be with my girlfriend. I hope she considers herself, at least on some days of the week, fortunate to be with me. But it's interesting. And so the idea that I get to be with him, let me ask you this. This is another hard question. What % do you consider yourself fortunate to be with him? I wouldn't get to be with him. And what % do you consider? And what % is it that I'm fortunate to be with him, but what percent is it that I'm fortunate to have a man? What's the wait? What's that giggle? Wait, what's that giggle right there?
The ratios are hard.
What the fuck is the giggle?
Well, it's because
what's the giggle?
I don't actually care whether or not I get to be with a man necessarily. You
just said, then I would have to be alone.
Yes, and then I would have to be alone.
So you do care about whether or not you get to be with someone?
Yes, I guess I do.
Oh, you little fucking liar. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So then back to the question. You consider I wouldn't get to be with him. So what percent is it I'm fortunate to be with him, this specific man? And what percent is it, if you're being really honest, I'm just fortunate to have a man, and not just any old man, but a man who cares about me, that I love, that I have someone. I have my person. I have someone here.
60% have somebody here, 40% be with him.
You like that 60-40 split, don't you? You know I wouldn't let you get away with 50-50s. You just instantly go to the 60-40. All right, that's fine. And so then, what is it that having a man, a partner, lover, what is it that gives you that not having a man robs you of? What is the single biggest thing, if you were to sort of dig down, when you don't have a man, what is it that you are forced to face?
I have a lot to give. I'm actually a really good partner.
I don't doubt that.
I like working in a team and how it feels to, I don't know, just cook dinner together.
What is the fear if you are alone? What is the fear if you are alone?
That all of the love that I have to give, I don't have somebody else to give it to.
Okay. And let me ask you this. What happens and that's a legit reason right there. All the love I have to give, I won't have someone to give it to. I totally get that. And you're not alone in that, okay? That's legit. What is it that happens inside of you when you don't have someone and you fear going back into it because it's just like, fuck, I've gotten my ass kicked now twice. Remember, we just set up a scenario where he's cheating on you with Denny's waitress girl, all right? And so now you're alone. What is it? What are the voices, the messages inside of you say when you're alone, when you don't have someone? Because you'll recall, you said he didn't take time off between his relationships from his ex-wife to you, right?
Right.
But you didn't either.
Well, no, I was divorced for 4 years.
Okay, you were divorced for 4 years. Okay, so then you have some experience in this. Okay, what happens to you? And I assume when you were divorced, you were alone?
Yes,
okay.
I did. I lived.
What
my
happens
kids were older.
inside of you when you don't have a man? What happens inside of you when you are alone? Because you've been with this guy since you were roughly 42, 43. You were divorced for 4 years. So that means you got a divorce right around 38-ish. So what happens inside of you? What are the voices that rise up inside of you say when you are alone?
I want somebody to be there with me.
I don't doubt that. Do you have any voices inside of you that say, see, I'm alone. I'm no good. See, I'm not lovable. See, I'm a loser. Or see, I'm not wantable. Or see, I'm not good enough. Now, maybe you don't, but I'm asking.
Yeah. I don't really have those voices.
Excellent.
I don't really feel like I actually enjoy myself as far as who I am and the things and the person that I am alone. But the want to be with somebody and share things, it just feels really lonely to be by myself and to not do the day-to-day things that you would do at home and on the weekends without having a partner.
And give me a feeling, and give me a feeling word that it makes you feel to not have a partner to share it with.
It's sad. It makes me sad, and I'm just lonely and kind of empty.
Sad, lonely, empty. And so if I'm hearing you correctly then, and what percent does that sad, lonely, empty sort of take over your life when you are alone and don't have someone to share it with and love on and cook for and so forth? What percent does that sort of take over?
Probably about 80%.
So what percent then, would it be reasonable? Would this be reasonable? Maybe it's not. If it doesn't fit, throw it in the trash. Would it be reasonable then to say that your happiness, you need to have someone to give love to and to appreciate the love that you give in order for you to be happy?
Yeah, I think that would be correct.
Right. So you're fundamentally, if I'm hearing you correctly, incapable of being happy by yourself.
Yeah.
We will be right back after this commercial with Delon.
At 27, I've been through the ringer. I've been cheated on by a girlfriend and later a boyfriend. And honestly, I was tired of everyone telling me I had to either fix it or forget them. I didn't need a side to choose. I needed a way to heal. I started reading a book called Cheating Sucks, and for the first time, the pressure disappeared. It doesn't push me to move on, and it doesn't force me to stay. It just goes deep, into the parts of the heartbreak no one talks about. If you're tired of the stay or go debate and just want to feel whole again, you need to read this. Head over to badasscounseling.com and get your copy of Cheating Sucks today. Audiobook and paperback. Start your own path to healing.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with Delon. Delon, I want to ask you one more question. And this question is simply this. What you described there is that you're largely, you specifically said, largely unhappy, incapable of being happy on your own, that you feel 80% unhappy. If you, 80% unhappy, because you get sad, lonely, empty, big word, when you don't have someone to share your love with. I have a lot to give and to work as a team and to take care of, etc. Okay. And if I don't have that, I feel the sad, lonely, empty, and I feel 80%. I asked you for a number, you said 80% unhappy. Okay, so then would it be reasonable to assume, or let me ask it this way, what percent of your life is defined by getting love by earning it?
Probably close to 100%.
Right. Right. You are conditioned to believe that you have to earn it. You have to do something in order to be loved or lovable.
Correct.
Correct. KC, I'd like to bring you in here. I have some other questions, but I want to give you a chance to ring in here before I go on. Any thoughts here, KC, or questions?
So I guess is your partner invested in your healing work? Is he helping you to feel comfortable? Because the one thing that I've noticed in my relationships is, yes, I had been through a lot, but I never suspected a man that was honest with me. Meaning my trauma never really boiled into healthy relationships. So I went from watching somebody's every single move to completely trusting somebody.
He is not doing any work to help in this.
Do you wish he were?
Yes.
And what is it that he could most be doing that you would appreciate or feel like he's invested? What would be the single biggest thing above all else?
So we tried couples therapy for a few months and it was really rough. So I ended up saying stop. I didn't want to do it anymore. He has a kind of an avoidant type of attachment style. So he doesn't really, he's not very open and he's not very in tune with his emotions and self-awareness. So when he gets quiet and I don't know what's going on, I assume things are being hidden. And so it's like I don't get the reassurance that I need.
Right.
There's just a lot there. And for being an anxious person, you need somebody that will reassure you. And he is the opposite of me.
When did you know in this relationship that he is not a person who reassures you?
I think I started discovering it when I really dove deep into doing my own work to understand, what was going on with me. And then you can look and see on the outside when people show up a certain way
And so,
and have certain tendencies. So I think I'd say probably the first year of our marriage, because that's when I started going to the EMDR counseling myself.
okay. If he were to start opening up, miracle of miracles, praise the Lord. Okay, whatever. If he were to start opening up and share more of what's going on inside of him, would that right there have a profound impact on your sense of fear?
Yeah, it definitely would. I would feel like that I'm not carrying all of this all by myself.
What fundamentally are you carrying? Because you said in your write-up, you are carrying trauma from your past relationship, but now you're talking about something very different. Because if you're needing him to open up, he wouldn't have anything to open up from your past relationship. So if you're needing him to open up and help carry something, what really are you talking about him carrying?
Some of the bad habits, like I said, that he came into our marriage with, where he had lied and kept things from me, and just not really being open and understanding where he went wrong in coming into the relationship like that and not taking accountability, not being emotionally aware of why he made those choices.
And did he ever own any of that?
No.
So he has
He
never
apologized.
Okay, he apologized, but what?
He apologized, but it was more of a, well, this is why I acted this way.
Oh, okay. So he said the words, but it was more or less with an excuse, but here's why I did, so that's why I'm justified.
Right. So there was no accountability. And I think part of that is just not understanding where the behavior came from.
Okay. Okay.
That's sort of the same thing that the first guy did. Whereas he did all of his cheating, which is basically lying, and then blamed you for it. This guy is coming in with a lie, which feels the same as cheating in many ways, and is making excuses for it.
But at least he doesn't hit you and put you down emotionally. So, hey, he's better than that. But let me ask you this question. Generally, without getting into specifics, what does your husband do for a living?
He's an electrical technician.
Okay. And does he have his own business?
No.
Okay, he works for somebody else.
Yes.
If he fucks up, would his boss and fucks up a contract, fucks up a deal for a customer, would he be expected to apologize to his customer?
Absolutely.
Would he be expected to put his tail between his legs and apologize to his boss?
Yes.
Would his boss tolerate his bullshit excuses?
No.
So he knows how to be fucking accountable.
Yes.
So it's not that he doesn't know how, is it?
Yeah, I think he knows how to be accountable. I'm not sure he knows how to understand emotions behind it.
Really? So let me ask you this. Is there anybody in your life that he treats better emotionally than you? Anybody? Child, parent, sibling, anybody?
Not that I've noticed.
Did he ever treat you better than he treats you now?
That's a hard question.
Really? The mere fact that your answer isn't no implies that it's partly yes. So in what ways did he previously treat you better?
When he treated me better, we weren't living together, and I wasn't the woman in the household to be vulnerable with, to be accountable.
How did he treat you better above all else?
How did he
How? Because you can say he did, so obviously there must be a how he did.
Yeah, it's I think it was the way it felt because you can't, when you don't live together, you don't see the small things.
Fair.
I
How
guess.
did he treat you better? Is it that there was more good stuff or there was less bad stuff? Or how did he treat you better?
Yeah, so I think it was just that there was less bad stuff. And I felt more important, I guess.
And what was the biggest way he made you feel important?
I think it was just the way he showed up for me when he was with me and the attention he gave me. And it was just, I felt special and loved. And like I said, like I was important.
Okay, so then I'm going to ask you one more question. I'm going to turn it back to KC. And the question is this. What is the single biggest thing that you most want to say to him that you are most terrified to say to him? And I'm not going to tell you you have to say it to him. I just want to know what the single biggest thing is that you most want to say to him in one sentence or less. And maybe you're terrified to say it. Say it as if you're saying it to him.
Okay. So as I'm saying it to him, I told you that when we got together and I came into this relationship and I moved across the country for you, that the one thing that you couldn't do was betray me. No lying, no cheating, none of that. I told you what it would do to me, what I had been through with my ex-husband, and you still did it anyway. You still lied to me anyway. And because of that, it has made me not trust you in this relationship. And it's hurt me deeply.
And so it's interesting that you put out those things. The one thing you can't do is lie, cheat, and yet he did it. So it wasn't really a deal breaker for you. It was just gee, please don't do it. It wasn't a deal breaker because you're still there. I'm not trying to be a dick, but let's be really honest. And he betrayed your trust, and you are now in a relationship with someone that you cannot trust. KC, tell me your thoughts.
I'm a lay person. I'm not a doctor. But to me, what you're describing is not really post-traumatic stress disorder. He's created new stress in you, new mistrust. That's something he has to own. That's not coming from a past relationship. Now, maybe you have the propensity to go there because you've been abused in the past, but he's ripped that wound open. He hasn't done anything to help that wound heal. He's not doing work on his own for the reasons why he lied to you and did several other things. So I wouldn't, if I were you, I would stop owning this whole thing. You're obviously a giver and you're a person that wants to just do and do and do for people, but he doesn't get this gift. You didn't come in just damaged. He's creating new damage all on his own.
And yet, on top of that, Casey, that's an excellent point, Casey, but you can't do that, can you? You can't do that, Delon, because you're afraid. See, you need him. Because if you don't have him to give love to, you can't be happy. You specifically said, I'm 80% unhappy if I don't have someone to give love to. I can't be happy, basically, without someone to give love to. You need him in your life. And when I need someone, when my worth, when my happiness is tied up in having to earn this person's love and get it from him, and now he's not giving it. In fact, I kind of got to keep him at a distance, and yet I have to keep him because I need to get the love from him. I have to keep serving him. You have to keep him. You're stuck. You are super fucked. You see what I'm saying? Because you were saying earlier, I need him in order to get my sense of worth. I have to earn it in order to feel loved. So you were set up from this way the fuck back in childhood when you were set up to believe that you have to fucking earn love by giving love. That's the only chance you have of getting love. You're not lovable the way you are. You have to earn it. You have to give. And you'd like parts of it. I'm not disputing that. But that's the only chance you have of giving it. So if you lose him, you're fucked. You're not going to get any in return from anybody. So you have to hold on to this person Who doesn't give a shit? I'll lie to you. What are the consequences? What the fuck are you going to do? Turns out nothing. And so, but you are really hurting because you thought you could trust him, and not just trust him to not lie to you and not betray you, but trust him to actually be kind and loving. And he's not. Sex is great, but that means nothing if you don't trust someone.
Right.
Right. So here's a strange question. I asked you what you most want to say, and you basically said, I don't trust you. That's basically what you said to you. Because of what you've done, I don't trust you. I asked you to not lie, and you lied. I don't trust you. And so what is the single biggest reason you are afraid to say that to him? Even if you have said it, what is the single biggest reason you are afraid to say it and not back down?
Well, I have said it to him. And
he weaseled out of it somehow, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I've never said it in a way, well, you messed up, now I'm out. I've never said it like that. I've told him that what it's doing, not the lying, but like not trying to heal through this together, not trying to,
And
work
why
on
is it you haven't said, and I'm out? And I'm not saying you should. I'm just asking, you brought it up. So I'm going to say, okay, well, how come you haven't said that? Because the way you posed it before your relationship, you posed it as a deal breaker.
Right.
And so why haven't you? And I'm not dogging you for that, all right? I've been in your shoes. Casey has been in your shoes. Rob's been in your shoes. So we're the last motherfuckers who can be judging anyone, all right? No judgment. But I am curious, how come you didn't say, go fuck yourself, I'm out of here? You broke the rules, cocksucker.
Part of that is because I knew that there were things that I needed to work on as well. And like, I knew that he too quickly came into our relationship. And I know that there are a lot of good things about him. He's a really good partner outside of some of the junk he brought in to our relationship with hiding things and lying.
All right. So you just said three things. You just said, I knew I had things. The reason I didn't leave is, one, I knew I had things to work on. I'm not perfect. Two, well, he came in too quickly, and as you said earlier, he's broken. He came in too quickly. He made a mistake. So, maybe there's room for leeway there. And he's a good partner. So you talked yourself out of it. A, I'm flawed. B, well, he made a mistake in the past. And C, he really is a good partner.
Right.
Okay, so the reason you didn't do it is basically, I'm bad too, and he made a mistake, and I'll let bygones be bygones. But now let me ask you this. What's the real reason you didn't leave when you discovered that he had lied to you and broken one of your cardinal rules? What is the real fear that was, if there was a fear at the root of it, what was the fear causing you to stay when that had been your deal breaker that you weren't going to stick around for? If there was a fear, what was the real fear deep inside of you?
I think outside of just thinking that we could work on it and get better, I think if I really go down deep into what the fear was, is, again, I tried and something failed.
Again, I tried and something failed. Something failed?
Yeah, it's like I keep giving and giving in these relationships and showing up the way partners should show up. And somehow it's not good enough.
KC, you got a thought on that one?
I think she is an amazing person, and she's emotionally intelligent, and she brings to a relationship everything that is needed. A giver, somebody that looks at their own shit. I think that when you start to think more of yourself and what you bring to the relationship, because to me, it seems like you bring so much, that you'll start to have healthier relationships. And the idea that it's over for you because you're 51 and this will be your last relationship, it will be your last relationship if you want it to be. But I want to tell you that I met the most important relationship that I would ever have at 51 years old. The best and most healthy relationship that I have ever had in my life. I met him at 51.
And regarding this idea that you just said, the fear was, again, I tried something and failed, really is saying, I'm such a failure. I'm such a loser. God damn, I always just fucking fail at shit. Same thought, different words. I keep giving and giving and showing up the way a partner should, and it keeps failing. In other words, it seems to be saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I do want to put words in your mouth, actually. I want you to taste them. And if they don't taste right, spit them out. Like a wine tasting. If they taste good, swallow it. Okay? When you say, again, I tried something and failed, I keep giving and giving, nothing seems to work. I'm such a failure at relationships. What's wrong with me? What's my problem? How does that taste?
It just sounds like I'm putting a whole lot of blame on myself and not looking outside of why things aren't going well.
And is that what you do?
Yes.
Right. Exactly. And and the truth is, we all do that to some greater or lesser degree. We really do, Delon. We do. But I want to know, how long have you always sort of thought that about yourself? That I have to work so hard and I have to sort of shove aside anything else the other person may be doing. It's about me. I need to do more and more. And I got to give more and I got to give more and I got to give more. And I got to endure shit. And I got to let people lie me. And I got to let people beat me. And I got to let a man break me down emotionally and abuse me and cheat on me. I got to endure it and endure it, endure it. Where did you ever get the belief that you were so worth shit that you had to put up with this? That somehow that's good, that somehow that means you're more giving. Where were you taught that that's what love is? That you're so worthless that you have to give so much and not say no?
I know that in my childhood, my parents did not take care of me. I was neglected, not in a way where, I didn't have food or anything like that, but they just were in their own worlds, and they did not pay any attention to me. I pretty much raised up myself. I was the 10th of 11 kids.
Oh, wow.
My mom was depressed.
And what was the effect on a little girl being 10 of 11 and being neglected? What fundamentally did that cause you to believe about yourself? Put it in little girl language.
I deserved to have attention. I deserved for my parents to parent me.
When you weren't getting love, when you were alone, when you were just wanting someone to love you, but no one was, what would you think about yourself?
I don't know, that people didn't love me.
Right.
That I know that I wanted love, and
people didn't love me.
I felt like I deserved love.
Sure.
But I didn't understand why they didn't want to give me love, why they didn't want to take care of me, why they didn't want to show up for me and give me a happy childhood.
And so what did you start to do? What became your mechanism? If people didn't love you and show up for you, what became that sweet little Delon, that little 7-year-old girl, that little 11-year-old girl? What became her mechanism? How did you adapt? How did that little girl develop? What mechanism did she develop for getting love, whether from extended family or from teachers or from mom and dad a little bit or from siblings? What mechanism did you develop for getting positive attention?
I probably started working on myself externally. Like, I wanted to dress better and look better. And when I was pretty or had new clothes, then I got attention, and that grew into getting attention from men. And then I felt loved. And I just thought that I needed to go outside and get a relationship so that I could feel the love that I've been waiting to feel from my parents.
Okay. So that was your adaptation mechanism, your survival mechanism, that I realized at a young age, and you correct me if I'm missing something here, I realized at a young age that the way that I could get positive attention was by being pretty, wearing nice clothes, doing my hair right, maybe makeup, whatever, nails, whatever. And then I got attention, and then I got attention from boys and men. And then I figure, well, wow. And then obviously, naturally, that would lead to sex, presumably. And then, And so that's why presumably even in this relationship that everything else is shit, but you said the sex is amazing. Not everything else is shit, but the sex is amazing. Right. Okay. And so then a relationship equals me getting a more constant flow of love.
Right.
Right. But I have to get it from someone, because you were taught that fundamentally they didn't love me. They don't show up for me. So somewhere in you, way back then, it lodged inside of you that you are not lovable the way you are. People don't want to be around you just because you're you. You got to doll yourself up. And you got to look pretty. And you got to be sexual. And then when you get the relationship, you got to hustle.
Right.
Am I onto it?
Yes.
Right. That's the problem. The problem is deep down, way deep down, you believe that you are not lovable just for who you are. That's the problem. And that's why it's painful to be alone. Yes, you can do it. You did it for 4 years, to your credit. And you're crying now. What are you feeling right now? Talk to me. Let the tears come. That's good. What are you feeling right now? What happened that triggered the fears or the tears? Feeling word.
Just I'm feeling pain right now.
And where's
looking at all that. It is something that I do struggle with on a daily basis. Feeling good about who I am, whether or not I'm high achieving in whatever it is, my job, cooking dinner, taking care of my kids. I'm always needing to be perfect and be a certain way in order to feel good. And every day, from the moment I get up, I am judging whether or not I'm doing what I need to do or showing up for myself the way I need to or feeling
because
the way I need to.
Because the fear is, if I don't show up the way I need to, what is the fear? If I don't show up the way I need to and perform, then what? What's the fear?
Then I'm no good. Then I'm worthless.
Then I'm no good. I'm worthless. That's what we're really talking about here. And that's why you keep busting your balls in this relationship, giving way more than you know you want to, letting them treat you like shit, because you think that if I don't just keep doing more and more and more and more and make them love me, do just so much more, and if I do more, then they will. And what you discovered with your first husband is no matter how much you gave, he didn't give a fuck. And in this case, isn't it kind of proving the exact same thing? Granted, he doesn't beat you and put you down, but he doesn't give a fuck enough to change himself. Accurate or inaccurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Just because he is nice to me and a good partner as far as running the household.
But not in terms of taking care of your emotional needs.
Exactly.
Right. And so that voice, so when we talked earlier about the idea of a message deep inside of you, the message deep inside of you is I'm no good. I'm worthless. Right. If you're not getting confirmation of it from him.
Right.
Right. That's the problem. You were set up for these shitty relationships, or the first one was absolute shitty. This one is nowhere near what it could be. You were set up for this because you were taught, because you were neglected, you were taught that I must be worthless. They don't want to show me love. They don't want to love me. They don't want to, show up for me. I must not matter. I guess I got to be pretty because then people want me. I'm going to ask you a strange question. It's not that strange because it's similar to one I asked earlier. But there's no expectation of action. This is non-actionable. It's an action question, but you don't have to do it. I don't give a shit. It's your life. You do what you want. What do you most want to do? Not what do you most want to have happen? Well, I most want to win the lottery. No, that's something you want to have happen. I'm asking you what you most want to do with regard to your marriage.
I do want to work through this and the struggles I have with self-worth and just whatever trauma is still in my body. I want to work on showing up for myself and just stop abandoning all of my needs to take care of other people.
Okay, and what is
And
the single biggest thing that that showing up for yourself would look like? Top of the list. In this relationship, what is the single biggest thing that you wish you could do to show up for yourself? Top of the list. What is the number one thing that you wish you were healed enough to show up for yourself and do? What is it?
say no more, say no more to other people, and choose myself.
But we're talking about
Choose
your
to,
marriage. So
like,
we're not talking other people. We're talking about your husband in particular. How do you wish you could show up for yourself most in this marriage? We're not talking about all your other relationships in life. We're talking about your marriage. That's what this whole conversation is about. Your relationship with self and your relationship with your husband.
probably speak up more, speak up and say the things that I feel more consistently instead of protecting his emotions over what is going on in my body.
And the truth is, you're not protecting his emotions because you said earlier he doesn't have emotions. He doesn't know how to do emotions. No, you're not protecting his emotions. What you are doing is protecting yourself from his emotions. You're protecting yourself from his anger and his distance, his indifference. The reason you don't speak up is because you said, I stopped couples counseling because, to use your words, it got really rough. In other words, he got cranky. He got bitchy, right?
Right.
Right. And that made you uncomfortable because the fear is, if he gets too upset, right, he might leave.
Yeah, I don't think I really have a fear of him leaving, to be honest. I think it just was too painful to deal with, like, just how uncomfortable the situation was. We were always arguing and the tension.
Well, yeah, and part of it is also dealing with the discomfort of knowing that he's not trying to fucking actually do the work to make me fucking feel better.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
time he resists you on everything, he's basically saying, fuck you, I don't care. But the bottom line is this. Yes, I asked you what you most want to do. And you said, work through my struggles, show up for myself. And those are all good things, but they don't really say anything. And so I said, but what do you wish you could do? Specifically, you said speak up more and not protect his feelings. Speak up more and not protect his feelings. I said, well, you're really protecting yourself from his feelings. And he has plenty, I have no doubt he can do anger and pissed off or bitchy or silent pretty well. So it's not that he's not good with feelings. He's not just Mr. No feelings at all. You can't tell me he doesn't have any feelings at all.
Well, no, it's that when he does express emotion, it's usually after a lot of buildup. And then there's kind of, I call it the pop.
Yeah.
And then the flood of emotions tends to be just
right. And the
overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's not just you need to speak up more, you need to speak up and not back down. But you're afraid of him. And the reason you're afraid is because when he explodes or when he goes silent or when he does anything, you receive that as he doesn't love me. And every time you don't speak up, though, what you're really saying is, I don't love me.
Right.
I'm not showing up for me. Let me ask you one last big question. It's simply this. What % do you want to leave him?
Probably about 30%.
And if that number weren't quite fully accurate, if there were a slightly more accurate number, what would the more accurate number be?
I don't know. I mean, it feels accurate. I'm probably creating a safe number. It's probably bigger than that.
What, like what?
Probably 40 or 50%.
Probably 40 or 50. And is the main reason because you don't trust him?
Yeah, it's because I don't trust him and he's not willing to work on looking at those actions to kind of take accountability and heal through that with me.
Have you read the book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, yet?
I am working on chapter 1 and it's hard as fucking hell.
And that's the deal. And I work on it and do the journaling exercise in it and nothing, because that's going to take you back to that original messaging. Because everything you're experiencing right now finds its roots back there in that original shit. Go back.
Yeah.
Go into that fucking book. Dive the fuck in. Because the truth is, your unwillingness to face your deepest shit is identical to his unwillingness to face his shit. And you're better than that.
Right. And that's what I've been struggling with most in therapy, is taking a look at this specifically. My body feels very blocked and it doesn't want to look at it. It's even hard to write about.
That's right. And so if you have to, even in chapter 1, just start small. Start with small things. Journal about small things. But the bottom line is, you felt neglected. They didn't show up for me and they didn't love me. And you've got to open up to that, because that is at the root of all of your fucking problems. What are you feeling right now?
Like anxious, I think, a little bit. I feel like I've been making a lot of excuses and protecting a lot of people and not protecting me.
That's right.
Not protecting my feelings and what I actually need.
That's right. And how does it feel to know that you have not been protecting myself?
It feels like crap.
Right. And the crap, change will not occur until the pain gets bad enough. The pain of realizing I'm not protecting myself, and that I was conditioned to not protect myself. I was basically conditioned to make myself pretty, to make myself a sex object at some point, and then to make myself a wife, to make myself, to work harder, to make people like me. I was conditioned to not be lovable for who I am, but only for what I do. Do you have children?
Yes.
They're learning from your example.
Yeah, and I don't want that.
I know you don't want that. And if that's not fucking incentive enough, well, you and I both know that is a hell of a lot of incentive.
Right.
Right. You can do this, kiddo. You can fucking do this. And it's just time. It's like, I got to fucking do this. I got to do this. And let me tell you, everything fucking changes, like for the better. You're going to get so much strength and you're not going to back down. And you're going to be like, dude, here are the fucking terms, man. And you're going to fucking change, sir. And I love you. I love you, husband, but you're going to fucking change. You're going to do this shit. And if not, I'm not tolerating this shit anymore. I'm not. I'm sick of this shit. And I need better for me, and I need better for my kids. And furthermore, like KC's point, this won't be your last relationship, even if you do walk. Trust me when I tell you that one, especially if you do the work. And your next one will be 10,000 times better than this one. Rob, any final thoughts?
Delon's well on her way, and I have very high hopes for her.
Yeah.
But Sven, from a 30,000-foot level, somebody like Delon, who's been on all different sides of cheating, and then you find yourself in a new relationship, exactly what are the odds you could really trust again?
That whether the odds that she can trust at all or trust him?
Anybody in that situation who has experienced cheating from so many different angles, then where are you?
In all honesty, if they don't go down to the root causes and actually allow all of the pain and all of the fears from when they were cheated on, if they don't go down into that and bring all of that up, as well as all of the messages that churned and churned and churned and churned inside of them when they were getting cheated on, if they don't bring that up, the odds of them living without the anxiety of the fear of being cheated on are slim. However, if they go down into that, because that's what's sticking. It's not their new partner, okay? It's what's causing them to be stuck is all that shit that's still stuck inside of them. That's what's drumming up those fears, ginning up those fears. It's, it's like I saw Planet of the Apes when I was a kid, and I was like fucking 4. And I always, when I'd go to sleep at night, I'd be like afraid of like fucking ape people. And it was just, well, guess what? If I had never watched Planet of the Apes, I would have never been afraid of ape people.
Damn dirty apes.
Damn dirty apes, exactly. And so if I didn't have this thing inside of me of having been cheated on in the past, or if I could get it out, if someone had talked with me about ape people and how the movie isn't real and these are actors. Look, here's a picture of Charlton Heston in real life, and here are all the actors in real life. They're not really apes. It's not real. It's just a movie. Then that would have gotten out of me. So once you go down and get it out and get it out and get it out, especially those messages from being 10 of 11 as a child, as you get more and more out of that and feeling neglected and feeling alone, and that's you loving on that little 7-year-old girl. That's you saying, you are lovable. I'm getting you out of here. I'm going to take care of you. No one's ever going to neglect you ever again, little 7-year-old, 11-year-old.
Right.
That's you completely. And so when people say, oh, you can't change the past, it's total bullshit. You can absolutely change the past. The belief system that was implanted in you is what you're about to change. Everything's going to change after this, Delon. I have no doubt in my mind. That's why I want you to come back on the show, because I want to hear a fucking success story. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show. And to all of our listeners who have been tuning in, I know that we all thank Delon for being open. And to all of you listening, if you are struggling with what Delon is struggling with, I encourage you to read the book, There's a Hole in My Love Coat, and Cheating Sucks. And remember, healing shouldn't take a long time. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.